with question number 1 of paper 1. I'm not going with all the passages. What you need to know is there is a key word in all the main themes to examiner आपके answer में ढूंढता है, and that is the word Allah in Himself, or Allah in His relation with created world, or Allah's messengers. What you need to do, you need to memorize and you need to understand the number of the verses and the verse numbers and the chapter numbers, because you might be asked in that way. Examiner जब आपको पैसेज देता है एग्जाम में कैसे लिखा हुआ होता है, they give you the Arabic script, they give you the translation, right? But they will not write the name of the surah there. वहाँ पे surah का नाम written नहीं होता. What they do, they write this number there. Can you see this number? Surah 2.255. I ask my students to write the surah name when you're writing question number 1 part A, though it's not necessary. But what will be the benefit of it? Examiner पे impression आएगा कि आपने surah का नाम detect किया, and automatically you will be able to tell is it Allah in Himself or Allah's relation with created world or Allah's messenger. So that gives an impression on the examiner और आपको वहाँ पे marks मिलते हैं. Mostly main theme में marks बच्चों को नहीं मिलते. क्यों नहीं मिलते उसका मैं आपको reason बताता हूँ. If you look at my handout, so you will find such type of answer here. That is the main theme, importance of the theme, which is fine. You can copy it, you can memorize it as it is. This okay, you will get possibly 8 out of 8 on it. But Cambridge is now looking at some keywords in your answer when they're talking about question number 1 of paper 1, Quranic passages, the main theme and importance of the theme discussion. A and B part both right now. ठीक है? A part की अभी मैं पहले बात करूँ तो A part में ये main theme है. Many students do not prepare the theme. That there is no need to prepare the theme, by the way, because the translation is there in front of you. The translation will help you. Assalamu alaikum. So translation will help you, and you can get the idea from the translation and that suggestion. But there are some key words which are expected. We are talking about Ayatul Kursi. Look at this Cambridge suggested words here, which you should cover in your answer. You should be using it when you are developing that theme there. I think I have opened the page, so I will show you that page directly. Look at this. Look at the keywords. First चीज जो examiner आपकी main theme में देखेगा ना, वो सबसे पहले ऊपर जो पहला statement है board में, the main theme is God in Himself or Allah in Himself. अगर आप ये नहीं लिखते हैं, गलत लिखते हैं, आपके examiner के ऊपर वैसे impression किसी हद तक बुरा चला जाता है, तो you need to make sure कि आपने पहली चीज जो है ये correctly identify करनी है. दूसरी चीज अगर आप नीचे देखें, there are some keywords here: creator, omnipotent, unique, knowledge. Can you see that? Or you can also write about throne or absolute control and all of these things. अगर आप ये words आंसर में यूज करते हैं तो एग्जामिनर पे प्रेशर आता है, वो आपको मार्क्स देता है. It's not necessary आप सारे के सारे पढ़ें.
Sir?
Yes.
Screen share नहीं हो रही.
Isn't sure? Oh, sorry. I thought it's shared. I'm sorry. Okay. मैं share करता हूँ. I think I shared it as a complete screen. So let me share again. Is it showing now? I hope it's now showing, right? Okay. All right. अच्छा, I was talking about. अच्छा, अगर नहीं show हो रही हो आपने मुझे बताना है, ठीक है? I hope it's going to be shown now. अब ये main theme है किसकी? आयतुल कुर्सी की है. Okay? मैं दे दूंगा सबको. तो मेन थीम जो है अब क्यों यहाँ पे आयतुल कुर्सी की है. बोलो नहीं से बोलो. अच्छा, वो डिस्कस में बात करता हूँ, टेस्ट में बात में करता हूँ, ठीक है? तो वो मैं आता हूँ आपकी तरफ. ओके, मेन थीम आप यहाँ पे लिख रहे हैं. ट्रांसलेशन के अंदर सपोज वहाँ पे एक थीम नहीं और आपने लिख दी. एग्जाम्पल आप लिख रहे हैं आयतुल कुर्सी के ऊपर, and someone writes this passage speaks about Allah does not have sons and daughters. Will it be accepted? ट्रांसलेशन में नहीं है तो वो काउंट नहीं होगी. डजंट मीन कि आपको नेगेटिव मार्किंग आएगा, बट द एग्जामिनर इज लुकिंग. फॉर एग्जांपल, इफ यू आर सेइंग गॉड एज अ क्रिएटर इज डिस्कस्ड, इज इट टॉकिंग अबाउट इट और नॉट? यू नीड टू सी ट्रांसलेशन में है कि नहीं है, एंड डेवलप हाउ इज इट मेंशन्ड देयर. देयर इज वन थिंग दे हैव नॉट मेंशन्ड, बाय द वे. दे मेंशन्ड इट, यूनिक. आई नॉर्मली डोंट यूज द वर्ड यूनिक. आई यूज द वर्ड गॉड फ्री फ्रॉम human weaknesses. So you need to talk about that point. Translation आपके माइंड में होगी, सामने होगी. The keywords needs to be discussed there. And now when you are done with the main theme, don't use the word in main theme. Muslims should do, we should do that. Why you are not using it in main theme? Because that's a part B wording. And some students do the opposite. What do they do? They repeat the same theme in part B again. आप दोबारा उसको रिपीट करते हैं तो आपको मार्क्स नहीं मिलते, और ये मिस्टेक बहुत कॉमन है by many students, because when we see the transcripts of the student, उन्होंने main theme को दोबारा repeat किया हुआ होता है. The examiner is not looking for the repetition of the main theme. They are looking for its impact in the daily life. How? For example, you are saying that God is, he does not need rest and sleep. How is it important in the life of the people? कैम्ब्रिज ने बड़ी अच्छी suggestion दी है, लेकिन normally students वहाँ ये लिख सकते हैं कि people believe that God is always there. Whenever they are in need of the help, the God is there because he does not sleep. All right? Even the people feel accountable in their daily life because they know that God is watching them all the time. This is what you need to add the point there. Understand? Cambridge's suggestion बहुत अच्छी थी है. Cambridge suggested that people will sleep relaxedly at night. They know my God is there. लेकिन अगर आपको पता हो कि security वाले guard अगर alert है, you feel comfortable कि कोई चीज चोरी नहीं होगी, कुछ नहीं होगा. So similarly, when Allah is there, He is watching and He is taking care of it. So that's going to be the importance of it in the daily life. You can see here. That's the suggestion related to daily life. Can you see the second point? God does not sleep, so they can rely entirely on Him. अब आप आराम से relax हैं, आपको कोई tension नहीं है. You need any help, any type of assistance, it's there. He's available there. So you can develop it in that way. Don't repeat the theme. Repeat, write its reaction or its impact in the daily life.
It's not really written in the books, though.
Yes?
The Islamic books, they don't really hand down information.
Agree, because the book is giving you, the part B is related to students' own wording, by the way. To be honest, if you follow my handout or notes, you may write better than that one in some cases. Like I ask my students to, like, for example, look at the God's power and attributes here. For example, if you talk about that's the God power, he is unique. Now, I ask my student, how do you think God's uniqueness is important in my daily life? The student gave very good points. They said that it means we should not compare God with us. And we do not think that God is like us. He has feeling, emotions, he gets tired. So we should not compare it like the people who compared God with humans. So you can connect it in that way. Or any other development which you can write it, but it should be genuine. Okay? So there, your wording sometimes in part B is more better. So the book is mainly focusing on main theme, and some books have not separated the main theme and the importance even there.
Part B,
Mm.
the book, reading, it's basically just a repetition of the theme.
That's what I'm telling you. The wording is changed only. You will say, like, for example, here saying it teaches us, it focuses on, and in part B, you're going to talk about, you're going to talk about, like, it is important in the daily life of the Muslims. If you say it teaches us, it stresses on, I will show you some transcripts afterwards, and in transcripts, you will see the students get less marks, 2 out of 4, 2 out of 4, not more than that one in main theme and importance of the thing, because they have repeated the thing. I will show you some transcripts, and you will see and realize, oh, that student has repeated the same thing. And Cambridge, do not write it. We as a teacher tell you, okay, there is a repetition of the main. So you can see there is a minor difference. I have highlighted that keyword here. Look at my suggestion, where you can see the Muslims need to trust it. Can you see that? This is the way how you are expected to develop it. Okay, what is expected in part A and what is expected in part B? Let's look at one more thing here. That is Cambridge expectations. That's a very good thing. If you don't have any teacher's notes, nothing with you, go to the marking scheme of the Cambridge paper for the latest marking scheme. You will see this one there. The main theme is also there, but don't think you have to write everything. What's missing in it? In this main theme? What should be added? No, that's I agree. What's needed in it which is not mentioned at all here? Quotation or the reference. Part A, main theme needs a reference to support your idea. I was checking some students' answer. वो क्या करते हैं? कोई सा भी translation लिख देते हैं. One common method of answering the main theme which is wrong, student memorize one theme on oneness of God and they write it in all the passages. Passage से निकाल के लिख सकते हैं, but again, I told you, those students who attended my class when I conducted it long time ago when I was in Cambridge training, मैंने एक extra class online conduct की थी, and I was talking about that one. So वहाँ पे Cambridge says, do not paraphrase the translation. And 90% of our students do the paraphrasing of the translation. So it is fine. It will give you 2 out of 4, maybe 3, but 4 out of 4, even 3 out of 4 is very less likely, because what we do, we just paraphrase it. We just take the translation and we write it in our own words. So आपको marks उस पे नहीं मिलते. You should have a strong wording, like reference लिख सकते हैं. But the point are going to be like, is it talking about God's sovereignty? It is talking about God's divine protection. Is it? That is Surah Nas actually. Can you see Surah Nas? Look at the keywords. God's sovereignty, God's divine protection, God's control. How is God's control mentioned in Surah Nas? Explain it. How is God's warning? Like, what's the warning God has given in that one? So you need to talk about that one. That's the way keywords like Surah Ikhlas hai, samad word needs to be explained. If we do not explain the word samad, अभी ये recent May June 2025 के paper की transcripts आई उसमें Surah Ikhlas was there, and majority of the students did not get good marks in the question number one. Question number one is not that difficult, but it is not that easy also. This is what I want to tell you. एंड पे कर सकते हैं उसको, लेकिन यू नीड टू नो कि उसमें 2 out of 4 से ऊपर मार्क्स लाने के लिए थोड़े से स्ट्रेटेजी अडॉप्ट करनी पड़ती है. जस्ट पैराफ्रेजिंग यूजिंग योर ओन वर्ड्स और वन रैंडम यूनिवर्सल थीम सब में लिख देते हैं उठा के एग्जामिनर ने कौन सा पढ़ना है, द एग्जामिनर डू रीड इट एंड दे मैच विद द ट्रांसलेशन बाय द वे. तो यू नीड टू मेक श्योर कि वहां पे आपकी, अब यहाँ पे आपको मैंने मॉडल प्रोवाइड किया हुआ है, आप यहाँ से इसको प्रिपेयर कर सकते हैं. दैट इज सजेस्टेड main theme and the importance of the theme. I'm not going on with all the main themes, the importance of the theme. What is the main thing which you need to cover? Look here. That is the basic requirement of part A on the right side. Yes, Ibrahim. अब I'm coming to question 2 separately. मैं इसलिए ऐसा one question पे ही discuss कर रहा हूँ. So that's the reason मैं 2 वाले point of view से भी discussion पे नहीं आ रहा, क्योंकि फिर हम थोड़ा सा टॉपिक से हट जाएंगे. तो मैं आता हूँ उसकी तरफ, फिर आपने वो क्वेश्चन रेज करना है. Part A, question number 1. Look at the expectation. It is good to write मक्की और मदनी सूरा. ठीक है, आपने सूरा का नाम बताया, automatically you will mention कि ये मक्की है या मदनी है. Cambridge will give you the number. They will not give you the name of the surah by the way. Okay, you can see the model paper. You will see the number is given. These ratios which are given, they are written there, but they don't write them. You will write either it's surah name, is it Makki or Madni. Then the main thing, that is very important thing. The main thing, either it will be Allah itself, Allah's relation with created world, or the third one is Allah's relation with Allah's messengers or Allah's relation with messengers. This is first thing examiner will check on it. And sometimes the teacher make a quiz in the class and they ask the students, they just show them random numbers, or they used to ask the students, tell which surah is it. Yeah, what's the main theme of that passage? There, the student needs to know that one. इतना ज़्यादा बहुत बड़ी होने की जरूरत नहीं है, बट वो इब्राहिम क्वेश्चन के क्वेश्चन में इसकी आपको और ज़्यादा जरूरत पड़ेगी. मैं अभी उसकी तरफ आता हूँ. फिर what we need to do, we need to write the additional themes there. I wrote here, don't paraphrase. What the students do, they just rewrite the translation in their own words. Okay, it's not history question number 3, take the 3 facts from there and write it as it is. This is what the student do in the translation here. They just make the translation easier for the examiner. Examiner is not looking at the easy translation. They're looking at what's the main teaching there.
Translation of what?
Translation is given, right? The student read, they make it more easier. They just use their own wording to tell the examiner that's mentioned in the translation there. The examiner don't need that. They are looking for the key teachings developed properly. Okay, 2-3 teachings are fine sometimes. Like Surah Fatiha. What are the main teachings in it? Think about it. Tawheed. Develop it where? What type of Tawheed is mentioned in it?
That Allah is the sustainer, controller of everything.
Good. So Tawheed in Rububiyyah, the Lordship, right? And do you think Tawheed in worship is mentioned in Surah Fatiha? Can anyone tell me?
You alone.
Good. Tawheed in worship is also there, because the translation you we worship and your help we seek is there. That's the point which you need to write there. Yes.
About each type of verses, do we have to quote
Mm-hmm.
the verses from the?
Good. I'm coming to that point. अच्छा, अब यहाँ से मुझे आवाज constant आ रही है. अच्छा, you need to write the surah name, the theme, Makki or Madni, it will be good. Additional thing, and then support one of the themes with a reference, not from the same passage. Understand? This is what you need to make sure. Some students take the translation from the same passage and they quote it back again. It's not going to be crediting you. It's not going to be beneficial. You need to write a reference. You might be lucky. Another passage in the same paper is going to help you. For example, if you're talking about Surah Ikhlas. Surah Ikhlas की support में आप कौन सा passage use कर सकते हैं from your syllabus? Which passage which supports the idea Allah does not have a son and daughter? Which passage supports that one in your syllabus? Is here. Can you tell me from the
Surah
first 5?
Ikhlas.
नहीं, Surah Ikhlas के reference में support में. Surah Al-Anam, excellent. Surah Al-Anam, the reference is same. How can he have a son when he has no partner, when he has no consort or no partner? That so you can write that point. अब आप उससे help ले सकते हैं. You can take the idea and you can develop it with that one. Okay, so that is the way how you develop the main theme. There is no final or only wording. Again, I will tell you, it will be good if you reuse or do the different wording and develop your answer accordingly. Okay, that's main theme expectation. What we will do for the part B now, when we are talking about part B, you need to look at that. But I already gave you the idea. आपने main theme choose कर लिया. Suppose it's talking about Allah's omnipotence, means all powerful. If you have talked about Allah's knowledge, throne, and all of these things, how is it important in the daily life? Part B में आपने उसको relate करना है. Part B does not need reference. If you write it, it's up to you, but it's not the requirement of Part B. Part B needs to relate it with the daily life. How is it important? Suppose Surah class, बहुत आसान है. We recite it in the prayers. One third of Quran. Easy to recite in the prayer, easy to memorize. Revive the belief in one God whenever you recite it, right? Surah Fatiha की importance क्या है?
Prophet says that
Prayer is not acceptable without the Surah Fatiha. You can talk about that one. Any other importance of Surah Fatiha? Isn't it a dua or supplication also? It could be the point you can write it.
Yes.
only ask for
To rely only on one God. Very good. Rely on Allah only. Okay, good point. Surah Fatiha. Do you think Surah Fatiha's importance include we should make the prophets and the pious people as our role models? Which part of it speaks about that one, by the way? There is a part of Surah Fatiha which says that you should follow the path of the righteous people.
Sir, इधर सिरातुल मुस्तकीम.
इधर सिरातुल मुस्तकीम. सिरातुल मुस्तकीम जब आपने explain किया main theme है, importance in the daily life क्या है? We should make the pious people, the prophets as our role models, not the other people who got misguided. तो आप इसको daily life से relate इस तरह से कर सकते हैं. Okay? अब the rest of the passages I will suggest you कि आप एक दफा इसको देखेंगे. I will not go in detail of all of it. We will move to the next topic, which is my next today's topics discussion. Passages सारे के सारे available हैं. आप किसी भी note से book से follow कर सकते हैं उसको. Some passages are explained a little bit more than what is required, but I made brackets next to them. क्योंकि why there is the detail? It will be needed in question 2 sometime. So that's why I gave extra details there, so you can ignore it right now. We are moving to question number 2 discussion, and the question number 2 discussion is, what are the topics from where the question number 2 is going to be asked? First, let me scroll down all the. Okay, that's question number 2, expected questions here. Look at the questions which might be asked in question number 2. So when you look at question number 2 topics here, starting with number 1 is call to prophethood. The second is revelation of Quran from 610 till 632. Then we have collection and compilation of Quran. And then we have theme-based question, okay? And after that, we have background of the surahs. There are some surahs, their backgrounds are also important, by the way. So you need to make sure if someone has not done that, you need to know about the background of certain surahs also, okay? Then we have sources of law. And the last thing which I wrote here is merits of some passages there. Today, we will be talking about just 3 topics. One is first one, ways. Because that's the easy portion, and I'm very much sure it's very likely to be there. कि आपका जो compulsory question होगा, hopefully that will be from the first 3 topics. That's very likely, and you might be lucky if the question is from the first 3 topics, not from the themes, not from the background and all of these things. Theme is comparatively harder because you need to just do the rata or memorization of a specific model answer for that.
and you need, since it's 10 marks, you need to write
You have to, and definitely it's asked continuously in CI exams, so their expectation is higher from you in recent years, by the way. Okay. Ariz, are you listening? Okay. All right. So moving to the first topic, that is experience of first way. You are aware about it, okay? But this is the question in which many students get least marks. They get the marks less than their expectation. अब जब पेपर देके बाहर निकलते हैं, आप बाहर आके कहते हैं A1 पेपर हुआ और मेरे 10 out of 10 आ जाएंगे. When you see your transcript, you get 6 or 7 out of 10. Why? अब reason क्या है उसका? उसका reason ये है कि you are writing something thinking you have done the best answer. But when you compare your answer with other students who have done the best answer, you will see your answer is lacking something. What are the things which we normally leave or skip in our answer? There are 5-6 things which should be there in your answer. What do we miss in it? Why did the Prophet used to go to the cave of Hira? You need to talk about meditation. You need to talk about the age of Holy Prophet. You need to talk about the food. You need to talk about what were the 2 signs of prophethood Prophet received before becoming a prophet.
when he went to like Wahira,
No, I'm talking about just while meditating. There are 2 things.
dreams.
True dreams, good. And in one of the books, it's mentioned he used to hear the voice being called, and his name was being called from the mountain. Then he can hear the echo of his name being called there. So you can write, especially the true dream. True dreams must be written when you talk about experience of first revelation there. That is the big first paragraph which is going to be there. Then most of you are good at what happened inside the cave, by the way. It will be good if you explain Angel Jibrail brought the verses of Surah Al written on a silk brocade or a silk cloth, and then he asked Holy Prophet to recite. Then Prophet ﷺ's reaction and all of these things, you know about that one. Don't, yes, sorry?
Yes, write that long reference.
You have to. I suggest you to write the 5 verses translation, by the
Like
way.
the one before the word. He told the prophet to read
That's the hadith of Holy Prophet. If you don't want, you can just mention the situation which happened there and the translation. Yes, 5 verses of Surah Al must be there. If someone writes first 5 verses of Surah Al but reveal, it's fine, but it will be good कि आप वहाँ पे translation लिखें, because there might be a difference in the mark for the one who did not write it, by the way. Okay, what happened when Prophet left? First thing, the situation inside the cave, angel left. Did Prophet stayed there, or he also left? And what was his situation? Was he relaxed, calm, or he was shivering? He was shivering. So you need to talk about that one. And then when Prophet came outside, what happened? That's the something which is missing in some of the books. So you should write. क्योंकि कुछ बच्चे ये answer में नहीं लिखते. Examiner is expecting you should write it. Okay, when Prophet came outside, he saw the angel Jibrail again on the horizon, and Hazrat Jibrail said something. What did Hazrat Jibrail say at that time?
I am Jibrail.
Excellent. So you need to write that point there. Or uske baad, when Prophet ﷺ rushed, did he rush to Baytullah or Kaaba? He went to Kaaba. Good. Oh, sorry, he went to Hazrat Khadija. Good. So Hazrat Khadija ke paas, the way she comforted Holy Prophet, you will talk about that one. All right. So actually, it's indirectly the answer of the question which you did yes recently. उसमें कुछ points मैंने add किए जो आप पूछने वाले थे मुझसे. You have to write about Hazrat Khadija's role. You have to write about the role of Waraka bin Nawfal in detail, by the way. If you just write Hazrat Khadija comforted Holy Prophet ﷺ, you will not get marks. Highest level क्या है मैं आपको बताता हूँ.
You have to write about
Yes, we have to. Whole discussion. Now I will tell you what is going to be in detail there. Prophet rushed to his house and told Hazrat Khadija about the whole incident, and he said, I am afraid of my life. Someone is trying to kill me or someone is trying to harm me. Hazrat Khadija's reaction and her wording will be there. And then you're going to say that she asked Holy Prophet to take a rest, and she visited Waraka bin Nawfal and told the whole story. Then Waraka bin Nawfal talked to Holy Prophet later and told him the whole wording which you're going to mention, which he said that this is the same angel. The whole wording is required. It is good to write it. And you can see the answers of the students mentioning it. That's, I know, agree. That's going to be the something which is going to make your answer from 7 to 8 marks or 9 marks or 10 out of 10 also. You got that one? Why I'm asking this whole detail of the first Wahi, I added that detail here. By the way, this is the reading part. Laylatul Qadr, sorry, I missed that point. That was most probably the night of the power. Acha, kuch student isse achhi aur beginning karte hain. No, that's going to be in the ways of revelation, sorry. But the Jabal-e-Noor, the Mount of Noor, the place where the mountain was there, details of the food, true dreams, this is already, you know that one, all right? I intentionally missed a point here, that is seeing angel. Prophet saw angel Jibrail 2 times in the first way. Once inside the cave in a human form. And when he was outside, he saw the angel in his real form, and he has covered the whole horizon. So you need to talk about that one. What type of question is very recently asked? Look at that question. And a non-Pakistani variant hai. You can expect this question in your paper. This is, I think this one, not this one. I have opened all the questions which we need right now. Look at this. I'm coming to that. Look at that. Latest question, ये non-Pakistani variant में आप expect कर सकते हैं. और Cambridge made the question easier for the students, by the way. Why I was asking you to focus on the wording of Waraka bin Nawfal, the wording of Hazrat Khadija. Look, Cambridge has specified their roles there. And when you see the marking scheme, you will see there is a detail behind that one. Yes. आ जाते हैं, लेकिन उनका जो role है ना, you can see the roles of Jibreel. Of course, we will write it Khadija in detail. If you just write her role, that's level 3, basic role, right? She comforted Holy Prophet and asked him not to worry. This is one way of answering. Another student write what did she say. So that makes your answer go up because your answer is supported by the reference. So someone who did not write and someone who wrote it, definitely हम उसका grade कहीं ना कहीं differentiate होगा. That's the reason why I'm asking you कि आपने खदीजा और वर्का बिन नौफल इनके रोल को डिटेल में लिखना है. बाकी चीजें यहाँ पे क्लियर है. Word Iqra is focused, then details about it, the verses of Surah Alaq, Prophet's reaction, then the translation of the verses. You can see the even Cambridge added it in the marking scheme. Because student used to ignore that part, by the way. Then you can see Prophet's reaction. Was he confused, shaken, or he was relaxed? Examiner is looking for that keyword in your answer. Then he ran to his home, Hazrat Khadija's role here. Khadija consoled him. You will write the wording. Don't think how brief it. This is marking scheme, okay? And then you will talk about Warqa bin Nawfal's details there. And then how he reassured Holy Prophet. You need to talk about that one. I suggest the students do not end the answer here. You will mention after meeting with Warqa bin Nawfal, the revelation stopped for a few months. And Prophet ﷺ remained in, he remained worried, and he used to stressful, and Fatratul Wahi gap is going on, and Prophet ﷺ was having no one to discuss because Warqa bin Nawfal also died after a few days of meeting with Holy Prophet ﷺ. So no one was there, and in some books it's written that Prophet even, I think Ahmad bin Nishad ne likha hai, it was so difficult situation. He used to go to the top of the mountain thinking, I will jump from there because of such a stressful situation. Then one day Prophet received the verses of Surah. Which Surah? Second verse, second revelation. What Surah? No, not Surah Mudassir. Surah Mudassir. So you can end your answer here if you want. By the way, it's not the requirement of the question, but I suggest you can you see the last wording? Answers can be elaborated with detailed descriptions and quotations. इस चीज को आप as it is लिखेंगे, you can surely get 5 or 6 out of 10 without anything. If you just write this marking scheme there, but we need to go with more than that. You can get 10 out of 10, by the way. लेकिन अगर आप एक चीज को ठीक करने में लगे और एंड का आंसर रह जाता है, that is not a wise decision. So in this case, this is a better option. If someone's handwriting is slow, someone is not able to retain the quotations and facts, don't worry, rely on it. But you may be at B or A level, not A star. This is what you need to understand it. But some students, they have writing issues, their writing speed is slow. They can just rely on that. And that is okay, going to be okay. It may take you to A, by the way, but it's not the only thing. Second topic which we need to discuss today, that is ways of revelation, which is very highest likely question आपके पेपर में, जो मेरे हिसाब से अगर मैं guess करूं उसको question 2 paper 1 में, तो I personally think ways of revelation सबसे ज्यादा likely है. फिर उसके बाद collection and compilation है, उसके बाद first वही है, and then the rest of the questions are there. If I personally gauge करूं उसको probability के ऊपर, तो मेरे हिसाब से ways of revelation क्योंकि gap भी बन गया and it's not asked since a bit gap, or maybe the Cambridge can use the word. एक Cambridge ने tricky question दिया था, Angel Jibrail brought revelations to Holy Prophet at different occasions. Write an account of it. वो question 2015 के बाद अभी तक नहीं आया. वो question क्या है वो मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ. आप उस question को भी prepare करें. और so look at this question. It's not exactly similar to ways of revelation. Look at this. This question was asked in 2015 और उसके बाद ये अभी तक कभी भी नहीं आया एग्जाम में. They ask it in a different way, but this wording is not repeated or asked in the Cambridge paper. That is, Angel Jibrail brought the revelation of the Quran to the Holy Prophet ﷺ at different timings and places. So we need to know about the different timings and the places, details, and you will develop your answer accordingly. Got it, Aris? What? कुछ सीट आगे करनी पड़ेगी यहाँ पे ना, 1 2 3 सीटें लगानी पड़ेंगी. Yes. Okay. So that question is most likely. और इसी के साथ ways of revelation भी आ सकता है, तो आपको ways of revelation भी आना चाहिए. Clear? अब ways of revelation में कैसे आंसर लिखना है? We need to understand the plan and structure for that one. If the question is asked on ways of revelation, how do you plan it? The first paragraph will be. Some students do a big mistake. They start writing on the first Wahi event or 1.5 pages के ऊपर लिख देते हैं, which is wastage of time. The Cambridge do not need that in your answer, by the way. If you write a complete page, you have wasted almost 10 to 12 minutes, almost 10 minutes of your answer. And it's required just 2% of your answer, not more than that. Now, कोई marking scheme दिखाऊंगा, you will realize that one. The ways of revelation you are going to talk about. Quran was not revealed at once. It was revealed over a period of 23 years, and it did not come in a book form. It came in words via angel or without angel also. Okay. अब आपके आंसर के अंदर डिस्कशन शुरू होगी. You will mention the first experience of the revelation started from Mount of Hira, where he received the first 5 verses of Surah Al. ये आपका first paragraph है. The first paragraph will talk about, see, the first paragraph will talk about not revealed at once, revealed in portions, the first Wahi reference, the Fatratul Wahi, the gap, and also the second Wahi. So first paragraph में आपके क्या क्या चीजें आ जाती हैं? You will talk about, I will show you the model answer, so it will save your time here. Here, that's a model answer. So if I talk about model answer, this is the first paragraph. If someone wants to write something which is there in some books, that is, we say Quran was revealed in the night of power. But we say the Quran was revealed over a period of 23 years also. So what's the meaning of the Quran being revealed in the night of power? Shabir Qadar mein how? Agree. Any other interpretation for that one? The first 5 verses were revealed. According to the hadith of Holy Prophet, Quran was revealed twice. The first revelation was from, Quran was originally preserved where?
In the
Tablets, preserved tablets. So the first revelation was done from the preserved tablets to the lowest heavens on the night of power. And then from there, gradually it was transferred to Holy Prophet over a period of 23 years. So if you want, you can write that point there. You can see Holy Quran ka reference bhi hai. He allowed him mahfuz. Quran was preserved where? In the preserved tablet. और preserved tablet से फिर वो gradually Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam के ऊपर reveal हुआ. ये first paragraph चल रहा है till second revelation. All right. अब मेरा आंसर भी इतना इसके अंदर fully structured नहीं. I will suggest you to make the next paragraph about different ways that Wahi used to come to Holy Prophet. There are 5 ways exactly. So keep 5 ways, explain them. What are the 5 ways? First of all, either by angel or without angel. If the Wahi was revealed by angel, the angel used to come to Holy Prophet in 2 main ways. His real form or sometimes in human form. When he used to come in human form, which companion? Hazrat Dahiya Kalbi's name you will add it. And when he comes to real form, give example for that one. Ek to tha jo Miraj journey thi, when Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to the heaven, he met Hazrat Jibrail. He saw Angel Jibrail in the real form. I saw when student wrote the reference about it. Quranic words hai, Summa dana fatadalla fakana qaba qawsaini. Quran ki words say it was so close to Holy Prophet. We can talk about it in a different question here. You can mention in real form, we can say, but for real form, I will say first Wahi event in the cave of Hira. 2 ways हो गए. कौन से 2 ways हैं? Real form or human form. Now, sometimes the angel don't used to come and Prophet used to receive revelation without angel. What are they? First of all, dreams, the true dreams, ringing of bell, ringing bell, buzzing bee sounds, fine same. What else? Behind the, which event behind the barrier? The Miraj event. So you will write the reference there. You 5 events आपने explain करने. I expanded it a little bit more than expectation. I suggest you to cut down that detail there. थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा depth में चला गया. तो आपने 5 ways एक paragraph में लिख सकते हैं with examples and references there. अब आपका third paragraph आ जाएगा. That is going to be Prophet's sensation. How the Prophet used to feel whenever a Wahi was revealed. 2 sensations have to be explained. Bodily changes, feeling heavy, bodily changes means perspiration. तो आप इसको develop करेंगे. Shiver or like sweat in the even in the cold. आयशा की reference आ जाएगा. हज़रत आयशा की हदीस आएगी. हज़रत ज़ैद बिन साबित की भी reference आएगा. ये 2 reference आपके add होंगे. आपने he becomes very healthy and we justified and supported by the hadith of Zayd bin Sabit in which he was sitting next to Holy Prophet. The Prophet became so heavy, he said that my bones were going to be crushed because the Prophet and the camel, Aswa camel used. So you can see, you know the points, but you just need to structure them. Okay? अभी आपका answer complete नहीं हुआ है. इस point पे भी ना आपका answer almost 2 pages पे जा चुका है. You need to make sure that you have reached almost 2 pages by just these 3 things, but the answer is not done yet. You're going to talk about the last revelation in the Mount of Arafat. The reference is there. Plus, the revelation was not in the control of the Holy Prophet. It was revealed according to situation. You can give the reference of Surah Kawthar. You can give the reference of Surah Duha. You can give the reference of Surah Ikhlas. It's up to you, but don't write so many references there. And one more thing is required. It will be good if we talk about Makki and Madani verses qualities. You were talking about the tafsir topic in the beginning. So tafsir also have one of the topic which is Makki and Madani. So if you talk about Makki and Madani here, the answer is going to be perfect answer, because that is the expectation of the examiner. We need to make an outline of this question before we start it. Normally ऐसा होता है आपकी चीजें structure नहीं होती, marks कम मिलते हैं. Look at Cambridge latest question which is asked about it. I actually opened 2-3 papers where this question is asked. So let's check which one I can see. Look at this. This is May-June 2023 question paper. And whatever I talk to you, see, is it mentioned in it or not? Look at that. You can see, first of all, beginning. It was not revealed at once, revealed over a period of 23 years. Can you see the brief reference to the cave of Hira with the gap, and then the second revelation, the first paragraph. Then you can see Surah Najm reference, which I was talking about, when Prophet ﷺ saw Angel Jibreel in his real form in the night of power. और दूसरा उसने कौन सा reference दिया हुआ है? First वही कहा कि Hazrat Jibreel brought verses of past 5 verses to Holy Prophet, and he was in real form when Prophet saw him outside. Okay. Next thing, Hazrat Dahiya Kalbi name must be there in your answer. And then you can see the dreams discussion there. Ringing bell sound, buzzing bee sound, it's fine. जो सूरह मुदस्सिर रिवील हुई है वो रिंगिंग बेल साउंड्स की फॉर्म में हुई है, जो सेकंड रेवलेशन है प्रॉफिट सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम के ऊपर. फिर हजरत ज़ैद का सॉरी वो हाँ वो अच्छा वो डेवलप होगा, सॉरी वो हैवी प्रॉफिट के लिए फील होता था, वो सारा उसके साथ जाएगा. और फिर उसके बाद यू कैन सी प्रॉफिट स्वेटिंग इवन इन द विंटर सीजन, द पॉइंट्स व्हिच वी हैव डिस्कस्ड, द रेवलेशंस नॉट इन कंट्रोल. If we reveal the Quran on the mountain, बिल्कुल लिख सकते हैं, वो हमें पार्ट बी में मोस्टली चाहिए होता है. ठीक है. और उसके बाद sometimes direct revelation like सूरह बकरा last 2 verses, जो आपको मैंने मॉडल पॉइंट्स बताए सारे वही हैं. कैम्ब्रिज कहता है some verses and surahs were revealed according to circumstances. I told you about that one also. So that makes your answer stronger. Candidates may narrate some stories related to these revelations. Maybe you can talk about that, but especially if the question is angel brought the revelation at different